I think we're good. We'll see.
Looks like it.
Maybe. Okay. Um, I'm glad I didn't put out a tweet with everybody that was coming on because I had a genius thought to like put out like a tweet like, "Oh, Matt's coming on." Oh, Dan. I'm glad I didn't. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna make that joke now because we aren't gonna make it later. You and I. But so we're gonna obviously talk the two games. I'm a little sad about the first one, but we're gonna get to Princeton because I want to talk Princeton and shut up a lot of the haters that don't understand how good Princeton actually is. That's the first thing. First of all, to the person that called me today and said he's a bigger fan of Matt than me, you're blocked in my phone now. You know who you are. I know you'll see this, and I know you'll call me tomorrow and we'll laugh about this.
Right, because I'm so handsome, Dan.
It's not because of that. I know that I listen. I'll just say this. I think the wording was he likes Matt's cards. It had nothing to do with that would happen. It had nothing to do with your analysis. Nothing. It was all about your cards. He likes other people, but those people aren't here, so I can't give them the flowers. I'll just say it that way. I'm sure he'll call me tomorrow. And no, it's not Tim. I just have to be very clear in that. Tim hates all of us equally. And I know that because of this the messages Tim sends me about Matt and how Matt's takes are outrageous and he's a homer and all this crap. All right, we're gonna switch to your stuff because my brain, if I do this, I'm gonna rant about that person for the next hour. You want to do?
Sure, we'll do card corner for a minute.
Yeah,
I don't have any cards to show because I haven't got anything in yet, but
yeah,
a couple things that are going on that are exciting that are card related that I wanted to share. So, one, a good friend of mine, Brad Ledwith, he's a fellow lacrosse card collector. He sent me a couple 100 pounds worth of bulk lacrosse cards, which was super cool. So I got those in the mail last week. For those of you who don't know, I mentioned before I coach my son's team, third and fourth grade team. And so after every session that we do, like whether it's fall ball or spring or whatever, I'll give them a pack of just like 10 cards, random cards. And I put them in little baggies and give them out to all the kids. And so
do you want to show? I know you're doing that. Do you want to show a couple? I know you don't have to show the packs. You don't have to show the packs if you don't want. Yeah.
So it's like just like 10 random cards. And the kids love them. They think they're super cool. And I've made that pretty well known in my card collecting group chat. And so Brad reached out. What'd you say?
Did you share this to them, by the way?
What, the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I send it every week.
Yeah. Yep. Today.
But anyway, so I
I
make it well known in the group chat, like, hey, if anybody ever wants bulk, they want to get rid of, because it's cards that aren't worth really much of anything. Feel free to send them to me. I'll make up packs and give them to the kids. And so Brad reached out to me. He's like, hey, I'll send you some cards, right? So I was expecting, a box of maybe a few hundred cards, whatever. He sends me 8 boxes that I think he said it weighed over 200 total pounds of.
So listen, I'm going to do a rant on this really quick. Yep. Support your delivery people, because when I got sent that picture, I have PTSD. That's all I'm going to say. It's not going to be a quick, like, Matt, you obviously know what I do. I think most people do. Yeah. Most people that listen, we'll just say it that way. Support your local delivery people, because my back was hurting from that picture.
Yeah. It was like 8 boxes.
Yeah.
on my phone.
I don't know if you want to. It's
okay.
Okay, all right. It's from a while ago. It's a lot of messages to go through. Oh, there's glare. It's a glare-ish, but it's not. I can see it, but it's just not.
You get the idea, folks at home. But anyway, so Brad sent me all those cards, which is super kind of him. And so I've been sorting through all of them and making packs. And I've been working with some of the guys who I know who coach other youth programs. You know, I've been working with a couple other ones, that guys who like play pickup with me that I know they coach too, or like I reached out to the Syracuse City youth program, and once they get their numbers for signups for the spring, I'm going to have enough packs for every kid that's part of that program. Which, taking that a step further, there's probably a lot of kids of color on those teams because it's the city program, and the 2022 set in particular has several players who are men of color, which is super cool because then it's like they see people that are like, oh, this guy looks like me. This could be me one day, right? Like,
right.
I can think of like 6 players off the top of my head that I know have cards in the set. So like, I'm super excited about that opportunity too for like, you know, some of those kids who, you know, let's be honest, lacrosse is predominantly a white sport, right? Like, so the fact that there are people at the highest level that look like them that they can look up to, I think. So I want to make sure that the kids get some of those cards. So I will say to take this a step further, if you are connected to any youth program in the Syracuse area in particular, and you want packs, reach out to me on social media. I will be happy to get you whatever you need. I literally have thousands of cards.
You can also DM the show on Instagram or Twitter, honestly, and we can. Matt has access to everything, so Matt, one of us can see it.
Local, and you want to pay the $10 for shipping, I'll send you 100 packs. And just pay me the shipping. I don't expect any money for any of this stuff. So yeah, awesome that Brad did that. Shout out to Brad. And I want to take my shout out to Brad a step further because I know he did his press tour this fall. If you look up, he actually worked on a lacrosse documentary about his son's high school team.
Oh yeah, I saw California. That. I just haven't watched it yet. By the way.
Yeah, it's called The Mighty Oak. So if you look that up on anywhere you can find streaming, I don't think it's on Netflix yet, but I think it's on like Prime. And
I'm searching right now. Apple, keep talking, but I'm keep going.
But Brad is someone who is very generous and does a lot of good things for the lacrosse community, the lacrosse card collecting community. So if you have an hour and want to watch a cool story about lacrosse, go watch it. They literally built that program from the ground up when his kids were in like 3rd grade. They literally had nothing. They had to go to Play It Again Sports and get the equipment for all the kids, and to then fast forward to when his sons are seniors, they're potentially fighting for a championship. It's the whole story and everything. Wow. So pretty cool little documentary. So if you can support Brad, I forget what, it's not very much to pay to watch it. So it's like $5.
Not on Netflix, just so you know. I
knew it wasn't on Netflix, but I think it's on Prime and Apple and
probably honestly on YouTube. Honestly, you could probably find it. To be honest, you can find a lot of that stuff on YouTube now. They might even have it on there. I don't remember all the platforms it's on, but if you look up The Mighty Oaks, you'll get it. I think I see, this is where my brain goes because now I'm thinking of things. Maybe at some point in the off season, and so Brad can hold me to this if he hears it. Maybe we'll have Brad on to discuss that fully.
Yeah,
possibly.
I'm sure he'd love to do
that. Because I've seen him do the media tour. Obviously, I'm not being a jerk saying it that way.
He went all over to promote it. So
yeah. So you'll hold me to that because I'm going to hold you to somebody that you're supposedly reaching out to get on the podcast that you've said 6 times and nothing has gone there. We're not going to do that though because you and I can talk about that after.
So then my other card thing. So it was officially announced today. TFL, who's a company that they've been around for a while, but they started with their first lacrosse set with the World Box Championships last year. And then they became the official card producer for the NLL. They did a set this year for NLL. Mm-hmm. They're partnering with SU to make a lacrosse card set for SU, which I am through the roof about.
Take my money.
Yeah, right. The meme "shut up and take my money" with the guy from Futurama. I'm yes, take it, all of it, go. So I'm going to be really trying to push selling some of my cards that I have for sale so that I can buy a bunch of SU lacrosse cards. But
I don't know. You want to keep going? Because I was going to. I was going to go with the next part, but you got it because you know more about this than I do. So
So Todd Tobias, who is another buddy of mine, who's in the card collecting group as well, he works for TFL. We're going to have him on next week to talk about the set as much detail as he can give, because I don't know how many details are readily available yet. Talk about cards in general, how the process came to be that they are working with SU, like all that kind of stuff. So we'll have him on for a little bit towards the end of our show next week.
Editor's note for that: if you have any questions that you want to ask, just send them to us.
Yeah.
He may not be able to answer them, to be honest, because I think I know what he can and can't touch, but there's also probably some questions that I'm going to ask that he's going to be like, no comment. And which obviously is cool, because he's got the privacy stuff that he has to deal with on his end, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Keep going, Matt.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be pretty cool. Like, and I know that, never mind. I'll let him share stuff next week. Never mind. So
and I will
at the end of the show.
So I know this for sure, because I think we'll have one other person who's going to be on the social media. So we will definitely be tweeting that out when he joins. So if you just want to tune in for that part, I hate you, but totally fine. I understand it. You're a card people. I get it. Like, that's, I'm joking, of course. Like, but like, if you want to tune in for that, we'll try and tweet live updates on when he can pop in. And same time, if you have any questions, just comment on everything and do all that. You were at the one game. We're gonna do the game that I should say, people don't know you were at the game, because I literally got asked today from that hater. I'm calling him a hater because he's watching right now, and I can see that he's watching. Was Matt able to attend the games?
Yep.
I don't know if you want to go into detail with that. I know which one. So I know the answer. I'll say it that way.
We were down in the Philly area for Max's soccer tournament. We were driving down during the Princeton game, so I listened in the car and then rewatched it the other day. Because listening to it is very different than actually watching it.
I would say our text group shows that. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I would say it shows that like very big.
I would text every 50 minutes. Yeah. Like at halftime when we stopped at a rest stop, and then, at the end.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Not going to lie. It made me giggle, honestly, looking at everything that we were talking about.
And then it worked out that, my son finished his games, and then they literally finished at noon. So we packed the car quick and drove to Penn. We were 40 minutes away because of traffic. It was 20 minutes, but 40 with traffic. And we got there with 6 minutes left in the second quarter. So
ironically, when the game started to change, you showed up and things happen. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to dive more into that though, because I have a lot of thoughts about that one.
Yep. So so it was fun to actually go to an away game, because that doesn't happen very often. So that was really cool.
So a quick aside before we do this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I have a coworker who actually attended the game as well.
Nice.
I was told, I don't know how much I can say. So you tell me if I'm going to get cancelable and any of that fun stuff for this. They weren't really checking tickets. They weren't really doing anything. He phrased it as you could have walked in without buying a ticket and they would have let you. That's how I'm going to phrase it.
They checked and scanned ours, but I don't know if that was because we were late and we were the only people there. So they actually scanned. I had to pay for tickets and they scanned us in. So
literally said
added us down too.
He said to me, now to be very fair, I don't know when he got there. Right? I don't.
Yeah.
I asked the minimal questions with him, and I haven't told him about this podcast for a reason. I don't need him to listen, because then he'll never stop talking to me at work. That's an aside, because he'll watch this at some point. He said he took his phone out because he's so used to the dome, and the security looked at him like he was weird for actually mentally getting because it's just second nature to us, right? When you walk up to the metal detector at the dome, it's like, okay, I've got my phone here. All right, got my wallet here, got my keys. You know what I mean?
It's a routine.
Yeah. aside from that, he said it was a great venue. That was the one thing that he did stress to me. The Cornell style venue, except for both sides of the field, obviously. When it comes to bleacher wise.
Yeah. So my cousin, she lives like a mile and a half from the stadium, and my aunt and uncle happened to be down visiting her, so they came to the game with us. And
nice.
My aunt and uncle were like looking up stuff because they love like learning new things and facts and stuff. And they looked up. It's the oldest stadium in the country.
Really?
Football stadium. It was built in 1895.
Okay. All right. Yep. I got you. My brain was going to go somewhere else.
The other thing that my uncle shared with me was that the Eagles actually played there in the 60s and 70s, which is really cool.
So dumb blonde moment, really quick.
Yep.
And I have to criticize myself. I always say that people come to criticize me. When I read that, I thought it was in Lincoln Financial. That was my first gut reaction because I was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm talking with my dad, right? And I'm like, "Hey, Dad, they're playing Penn and Lincoln Financial. Why are they playing Penn? Like, not that Penn's a bad opponent. Obviously, like we can get into that because trust me, there's a lot of takeaways from that game alone.
Yeah.
But I was like, why are they playing Penn? Like, if anything, Princeton deserves to be there or the Princeton game.
Yeah.
Dumb blonde moment when I turned. I was gonna say dumb blonde moment when I turned on the game and I heard Penn announcers and I was like, okay, I'm definitely at Penn. This isn't Lincoln Financial where the announcers are anti Syracuse. We'll just say it that way. I mean, that's my takeaway from the announce. Yeah. Let's do the game Princeton. You were traveling. Yeah. Two things. First of all, Princeton is really good.
Yeah.
I think people need to understand that. And I'm going to butcher the name. I have to look back at Cam's message. I'm going to butcher the name. Matt, on the spot, what's the goalie's name?
Ryan Kodrick.
There you go. They got Kodrick. Craddock. Somebody's going to correct us on that. I know somebody's, trust me, I know. They got Craddock was, I think, the text message that was sent between all of us because he's a stud. I think I learned that this game. And then obviously against Carolina, we took that a step further with him. Yeah. Let's just be fair to him.
I think we're quickly learning about Princeton that Penn State game was we're playing our first game. Penn State has played a couple games already. So their rust is already shaken off and ours isn't. And I think that's exactly what happened in the Penn State game. And since then they've corrected and have been fine because they in 3 games in a row, they beat the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah. And I think that's like an overreaction Monday take. If you look at like that Penn State game, cause like I looked at that. I think we looked at the score and we're like, okay, Princeton's not that good.
Yep.
And then you see them playing, you're like, oh, they played their pace and made Syracuse slow it down and grind through the game and made Joey beat him 1-on-1, which I'm gonna fuel the haters when I say this. Joey had 0 points. That's all I'm gonna say. Like it.
Yep.
I don't want to Go ahead.
I lost my thought.
You know what?
I don't remember what it was.
How many you paid?
I know what I was going to say. It's very similar to if you look at St. Joe's, where we played them their first game, we destroyed them, but they have been playing very competitive against everybody else. Like they weren't that far out. They were neck and neck with Duke for most of that game, and then Duke pulled away at the end this past weekend. So it's another example of like that first game, teams are really trying to figure stuff out, right? Like, so Princeton is a very good team. And they're, what are they now, 2 or 3 or 4? Like they're top 4.
It depends on which poll. Depends on which poll you go to. Like they have a strong case for number 1, in my opinion, but I'm not the Notre Dame fans will love this. I think they should be ranked out of Notre Dame just because of that weekend, in my opinion. But I'm an idiot.
They have better wins than Notre Dame.
Yeah. Well, Notre Dame plays 5-game schedule where they don't schedule anybody for the first 2 games, but I'm not going to fight that battle yet.
One thing I will say, and I made this point last week, is we are spoiled when it comes to the Dome and the broadcasting.
You think?
With both games. With both games, right? Like
I got a lot of thoughts about the Penn broadcast. I'm just gonna say it that way, but you go with the Princeton one first.
But even the Princeton one, like the commentators weren't that bad, but like there was a constant static on the broadcast. That like even the second time because I was listening to it in the car, so all I basically heard was the static in the commentary. And then when I went back and watched it with it, I was like, it put me into a blind rage. Like it was so annoying.
My dad was watching it, and I texted my dad at one point and go, "Is it just my phone?" Because I was watching it on my phone. I'm like, "Is it just my phone?"
Yeah.
I must have closed the app out 7 times, thinking it was like. Why, like the Wi-Fi makes it wonky, or the dumb stuff makes it wonky and makes it
my
static.
earbud, or
right. So I took out my Bluetooth. I did everything, like I did the novice things to do it, and I was like, nope, still staticky. Can still hear you guys, like. And every time they talked, you could hear it. Every single time they. I would say we're spoiled, and we need to once again remember these are college kids probably broadcasting that game. I'll say that from the Princeton side.
I know Penn wasn't.
No. The Penn guy probably graduated in 1995. That's my joke to the Penn guy. But we're gonna talk a whole lot about the Penn announcers and how they think that everything was against them and every penalty against Syracuse was warranted, but they didn't do anything. And
I think the main story of this game is we had a terrible start.
Yep.
And then because we struggled at the face-off X, we couldn't get momentum to come back. That's my overall kind of theme to the game, right? Like if you look at the stats, a lot of the stats are pretty even for the most part. But or at least relatively close. Like turnovers were right there with them. Clears were pretty even. Ground balls, they beat us, but they destroyed it. They beat us by 10, but they also had the face-off edge, right? So that's where your differential is for ground balls.
Yep.
Extra man, they went 0 for 5. We went 2 for 2. Saves were pretty close. We had more saves, and they had a little bit more shots. But once again, you put that at the face-off discrepancy. Other than that first quarter, we actually won the rest of the game. So,
which is crazy when you think about it, but we're not gonna.
Yeah. So it's.
I'm looking this up really quick because I want to pull something up.
And we've had games like that in seasons past, right, where we had a slow start, and then, it's happened in the semifinals last year, right? Like we got a slow start.
Yeah, well.
Back.
I think the joke with all of us, right, is you can't go. We said it against Maryland. I'll use Maryland as the example here. You can't go down against Maryland and then play the catch-up game with Maryland because then you're playing Maryland's game.
Yep.
We saw it with Princeton too. I'll put them in the same category. You can't go down to Princeton when you're losing as many faceoffs as you do. I'm not saying that's Johnny. I'll be blunt. The wings were non-existent. I'll say it that way. A lot of it was on Johnny. Also, a lot of it wasn't. And that's not a criticism of Johnny or the wings. Princeton was just beating them to the loose ground balls on the wings. That's the way that I'll say it without being hypercritical, because I don't want to do that. Matt will do that behind the scenes where things don't get recorded and I can say what I want to say.
And I think one thing I've noticed that since Harvard, he's had a higher uptick in like false starts, right? Like, and I don't know if that's just the refs he happens to be facing in their cadence or their timing, or if he's just in his own head. Like, it's such a face-offs are such a mental game that like you can kind of get in your own head, and so I think that's happening a little bit, but I'm also confident that he can get out of it, right? Like, he's very capable. So
I'll touch on the refs thing for 2 seconds with that. Something that I've noticed, and this is not from me. This is from my father, who watches refs, and I can make this joke because he won't see this. Has gotten thrown out of games when I was a kid as a parent. He'll get that at some point. But I'll tell you that story when we're not on here because he doesn't like to talk about it. He said they're setting, and then 10 minutes later they're saying go. That was one of the things that he picked up on. So Johnny is setting, and you can't expect somebody to set for 5 minutes and not jump. That was the way he phrased it to me.
Yep.
And we saw it again. Whether it's Johnny, whether it's the rules committee got together in the offseason, they're telling the referees to sit there for 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, obviously. It's seconds, but it feels like 5 minutes to everybody that's watching the game.
Yeah.
There's one stat that sticks out for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I joke about it, given what we just said. Drew Angelo took 6 faceoffs.
And he won 4.
And he won 4. And that's not, it's the number, right? Like, it's the number. Whenever I like Drew, he's better than Rachusa. I hope Johnny Rachusa sees this, and I hope your nightmares come true. That's all I'm going to say. Because every time, Matt, we joke about it, but every time Rachusa came on the field, it was like, oh, okay, Drew at least gives me hopes. Drew at least gives me a lot of hope with the X.
Yep.
I thought originally, so I didn't realize how many false starts Johnny had, because obviously they don't chart those. I'm sure Lax reference, somebody does. I thought originally they were going the route of resting Johnny. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, Johnny's actually struggling. They need Drew to give him a rest or give him a burn.
Yeah.
I mean, Drew, you said it though. Drew went 4 for 6. So, like, is it Johnny struggling, or is it Drew with the better matchup? I'm not in the face-off matchup. Like, Drew should be starting over Johnny, but it's just the question in my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when can you hear me? You okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. You're good. Whenever I go and rewatch a game too, like, I look at like the breakdown of like what's happening when and all that kind of stuff. And it's really only, so it was 1-0 with 7 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yep.
And so it was really only a 7-minute period where we really played poorly, and that's when they scored 4 in a row, right? Like,
yeah,
we had a miscue on a pick with Jake and I forget who the defender was. They had a face-off goal like right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Ryder got beat, which they're starting to put McCarthy more down on D.
Yep.
And then so of those 4 goals, there was really only one good goal in the one by Palumbo where I think he beat Dewan. But
yep.
But really, if you take out that 7 minutes, it's a pretty even game. It was also like, so they scored some goals, but then we had some small miscues, or like the thing I noticed too was like they had very well timed double teams. Like,
yeah,
and even the announcers mentioned, like, as soon as the slide guy saw the back of the helmet, he was going. And like that happened to Joey a couple times, right? And like that's how they kind of limited Joey, is they did not give him a chance to do anything. Because as soon as he turned his head to start making a move, the other guy came in and double teamed him.
Right.
But then like you had a tip pass, you had Craddock made a good save.
Yep.
Bo dropped a pass. They had a good back check on a huddle shot. So like a couple little things that like compounded with their goals that made that really poor 7-minute stretch that really kind of determined the game.
Well, you know what's frustrating, and it's easy to say this with the armchair people, right? You and I, it's great. I'm not going out there to play.
Yep.
That 7-minute stretch looked like it was the first game of the season for me, because there was just dumb passes and dumb passes. And it's something we haven't seen all year, right? Maryland, crisp. Maryland, they were crisp. Obviously, the other games, they were crisp. Like, and I saw the rust. That's the easiest way I could say. I saw the rust. And it's scary in a sense, because I'm like, okay, well, like you're that far into the season,
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not like it's the first game or the second game. I'll play that game. You know what? Yep. They're overrated. Just kidding. Obviously, somebody's gonna bite on that part, but like, there was just mental mistakes. You talk about the fall starts with Johnny, right?
Yep.
Key times where he lost it. And I'm not saying that Princeton is better. I'm not saying that Johnny is bad. I'm just saying it's something that I saw. There were key face-offs that they needed where Johnny in the past has won them. That's the way that I'll say it.
Yeah.
You know what's frustrating though? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I have to touch on a local connection, and in this sense, there's nothing more frustrating than a former CNY player scoring on Syracuse and having to hear it up constantly. Yeah. Yep. You know, I mean, like, when I first heard it, I was like, okay, we're good. Like, and then they kept talking about it. Oh, Syracuse didn't recruit him. Oh, Syracuse overlooked him. I got news for people. If that's the case, Syracuse overlooks a lot of people in Central New York because there are a lot of kids who probably wouldn't make Syracuse. I'm going to say it that way, Matt. You understand what I'm saying, but like, there are kids who succeed elsewhere from CNY.
Well, and Syracuse is not. It's still a hotbed, but it's not what it was because there's lacrosse everywhere now.
No,
anyways,
no. We're not going to do that though, because Matt gets sponsorship from people that watch, so I'm not going to jeopardize that. Which I have to talk to you about after this. That reminds me about that.
But what I will say too is though, like after that first quarter, RD only let in 6 goals total in 3 quarters. McCool had 17 saves, 61% save percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Their 3 goals in the second half, 2 of them were in transition. So they weren't even in settled, 6-on-6. So like RD really was bailing us out and our offense just couldn't bury it. Like there were so many shots that went wide or like we hung our stick a second too long and their defense got a good last second check to throw off the shot or, other little things like that. That just made those little things add up and make a big impact, so it's.
Well, think about it this way. Here's, and I'm going to channel one of Cam's notes here with this because I have his whole page of, I'm sure you have probably will echo this. Offense was never my question coming into the year. It was always like, okay, this team's going to put up 15. This team, that's my question mark. That's my question mark because the defense, as Cam put it in art, and I'll spill it because I asked him for the notes. He knows that I'm going to say this stuff. The defense kept them in this game. They kept them in the Penn game. We've got a theme here going so far. They kept Maryland behind.
Kept us in the Harvard game.
Jake Spallina and others kept them in the game when they probably shouldn't have been in the first parts of that game. And I don't want to say it that way because it's going to sound like I'm criticizing everybody. Jake Spallina has improved more than anybody thought. That's the biggest takeaway that I have from these first couple of games because he is the first one out there with Bowen, and we're seeing it. Like
he's sticking with people, and he's still fighting through an injury too. Like that kid is tough.
I was gonna say Cam's another note was the offensive execution. Like we can play that game, Matt, the 7-minute stretch. Like, and you can't go down like that much against them and then be like, okay, well, fourth quarter we're gonna pick it up and then we're gonna be good and we're Syracuse and we can turn it on. Well, kind of, but that's for the next game. We'll do that for the
that's where you can do that when you're winning faceoffs, right?
Yeah.
But we weren't winning them. So that's the thing is you have to, if you end up down, you got to win faceoffs to keep the possession and keep the momentum going. And we didn't have that.
Well, here's the other thing. So look at the shots from the first quarter. I have the PDF pulled up from their stats, obviously. So this is the Syracuse stats. 7-2 shots on goal in the first quarter. There's your difference. That's it. That's literally it because they were pretty much even for the rest of the game with every stat. You can't go down 5-0 in the first and have no offense and then
if you look at
outscore
the 7-2 is the shots on goal of regular shots that total shots
right
15-5.
Right.
There's a difference.
And I'll give credit to Princeton. We talked about it with Syracuse before. They didn't have the backup. Princeton had the backup every single time. And they executed that, whether that's a mental thing. I'm not a coach, so I'm not going to talk about that, but I think I have an idea. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's not criticism of the coaches because they did what they could.
I mean, they executed a great game plan to not let Joey control the game. They shut down your best player.
Don't do this. He's going to clip this. Somebody's going to clip this, and I know who's going to clip that.
But then, they do that. They win faceoffs.
Yep.
Their goalie has a career weekend, not just a career game, a career
weekend.
Yeah. He was 67% against us and then went out to the number one team in the country and went 74% and 25 saves. So he's clearly, and he was the Ivy goalie of the year last year, Ivy League goalie of the year. So he's a good goalie, and he made some good saves that, sometimes they don't make those saves, and that can be the difference in the game. You know what else I want to see too at some point? Bear had 2 physical goals. Yep. I want to see him assert his dominance more.
Yeah,
he can. That was that.
The Bear. Once again, this is gonna sound like the criticism stuff, but it's not. Bear is as big as he is, gets small in certain games. I think you'll understand where I'm going with that, but he's a box attackman to a T.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as a criticism. People are going to say that's not his game. He's got the size to play it that way. Yeah. So, back the shorty in if you can. Now, once again, Matt, I'm not the genius here. I can criticize from here, and I can get a message from a parent that says he's tried that. I understand that. Not disagreeing with that. That's just my thoughts on that. Play the inside more. And it's not even him being at X or him being on the crease. Take your guy behind and do what Joey seems to do, which is get the leverage and then force your way in.
Yep.
Your haters loved Joey's 0 points. I'll say your haters because they love to pull up old tweets from when Joey scored against Maryland. And they're Maryland fans. I'm going to refer to it as that because I'm not going to give that person notoriety.
Well, it's funny. I referenced Mike Powell last week, right? And I had to bust that out on Twitter because one guy, I have no clue who this schlub is, but he's like, Twerton winners don't go scoreless or pointless. Mikey Powell never went scoreless. And I was like, actually, let me correct you, good sir. And then he didn't like it and started making other points that didn't go with his original argument. But that's a typical moving the goalpost with Joey, which we can do a whole Joey episode, which I want to do at some point just to defend Joey. Not even a game review, because Joey can have 0 points and they win, and nobody cares that they won. They care more about the fact that Joey had 0 points. Yeah.
Because if they included hockey assists, I've got news for people. Joey would have. I'm not responding to that, Tim. I know it's you, so I'm not doing this. You and I already had this talk. Matt, you see it, obviously. You know.
Another point that I brought up to that guy on Twitter because he said Twerton winners.
I'll do it, Tim. Fine. I'll show Tim so people can see what the hateful messages that I get behind the scenes.
Playful troll. We love Tim.
Yeah. Well, kind of. You do. I don't.
The other point I made to the guy, because he was like, Twerton winners don't go scoreless. And I went and looked up all the former Twerton winners in their seasons. And yes, a majority of them never went scoreless. But you know who did go scoreless? CJ Kurse last year in the semifinals against Penn State.
Don't do that.
And
most people are proving your point.
But most people are will say that that's CJ's season last year is one of the best seasons in the modern era. Right, in terms of his dominance in games, his Twerton performance as a season, so, if he can go scoreless at some point,
you know what the difference is. I'm going to spoiler alert. It's because Joey wears 22. If he didn't wear 22 and he wore 5, nobody would care. I got news for people because I'm gonna cite a former player in this example. The only way people know about Jordan Evans, who was a great player in high school and was injury prone and all that stuff, everybody focused on his whole career because he wore 22.
Yeah,
every person, myself included. If he had worn 1, 17, 79, I mean, we can do the number game here, but if he had worn any other jersey but 22 or 11, which obviously we know why that's what that's for, but if he had worn any of the other those 2 jerseys, nobody would care. They'd care. They wouldn't care as much. The problem is, I think we talked about it last week, but it goes to the point. Everybody compares Joey to Mikey. Everybody compares Joey to Kark. Everybody compares Joey to Gary. Everybody compares Joey to Paul. And I know some of them didn't wear 22, but that's what the standard we're using is.
Yep.
It's not Matt Abbott wearing 3. And I love Matt Abbott as a player, loved him, but they're not comparing Joey to him, which is crazy because if you did, then it stacks up, right? Joey looks better. And that's not a criticism of Matt Abbott. That's just it's a great thing that he's being compared to all those guys, but we're also doing a disservice to him because we're watching a guy that could probably break the record. I'll say probably, like, just to be honest, like should break the record, and we're still caring about 0 points.
Yep.
That's you know what, Joey fans? That's me. That wasn't Matt saying that. I just want that to be known. That was because that's been building. My frustration has been building with that because I see all the comments about Joey, and I commented after the Penn game, I have a lot more thoughts about Penn than Princeton because you pretty much summed it up what happened.
Yep. Well, and I guess my one last point too is like something I didn't like seeing was that we got really chippy at the end of the game.
Yep.
And
it carried over.
And we might have had a chance to maybe get a couple more back and maybe build some momentum. But then those last 2 minutes, we lost all chance, or maybe it was 3-4 minutes because we were man down the whole time.
Yep. Well, and I'll add on to that. The Junkyard Dog unit all year has been fantastic.
Yeah. Like I have that stat. Hold on, let me pull that up because I had that early.
Of course you did. They went over. So like there's your number right there. And it could have been worse.
That honestly, that's probably other than like overall defense and Jimmy, our best stats right now are our man up and man down.
Yeah.
We're at 500. We're at 50% with man up, which is really good. And then our man down, they've only scored 3 out of 19 times on our man down.
That's crazy.
Less than 16%.
You know what somebody's going to take out of that, Matt? The man up sucks. They aren't going to talk about the man down. They're going to literally talk about the man up. I hate to say it, but
yeah,
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying they're literally going to, just because of what we just talked about with Joey, they're going to say, well, Joey's on the field. You should be 60, 70.
Yeah.
Like, like, obviously. Yeah. I don't know what I was going to talk about with Penn, actually. So I made it. I'll start with this. You saw the post I made in a lacrosse group, and I say gutsy win after Penn. Then we'll dive into Penn.
Yeah.
I kid you not, the comments that said how many points did Joey have, and these are lacrosse fans that know. I'm not calling them out by name, but like, obviously you saw the same thing that I saw.
Yeah.
Literally correcting somebody that he had more than 0 points. And this is somebody that watched the game.
I wonder if they thought you were talking about the Princeton game.
No, I said gutsy win. I'll just be very clear. I said gutsy win in that. I don't disagree with you, but the fact that I'm having to defend Joey after a win against a really good Penn team, I'll say it that way. with announcers that probably got paid $1 million by Penn to not say anything good about Syracuse, but that's I digress on that part.
Yeah.
They played really good against Penn in the last quarter and a half. That's how I'll say it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So same thing. Like I look at like breaking down section by section of the game. You obviously you look at the game as a whole, but like we were down 5-4 at halftime, which considering we really struggled with faceoffs in the first half. You know, like, so once again, our defense played very well overall. So, you know, it was really the third quarter, right? Like we're only down by 1 considering we had a little bit of sloppy play again. You know, their penalties are what kept us in the game in the first half, because we played sloppy, face-offs, and then they would commit penalties, and then we were just pretty much almost scoring at will on extra man to start. I think we went.
Yep.
I think 3 of our 4 goals were man up. Yeah, no,
Let's do the first half first.
Yep.
By the way,
so note they put back down low, and then Chuck was playing LSM with Bolnino. And then
I think to touch on that for 2 seconds, I think that's an adjustment from the wings. You see how athletic Chuck is, and you realize that you probably need him up there.
Yep. But even if there's a game that you have to move him down low, but still put him on the wings like they would do with Billy a couple years ago, right? Like put him on the wings and then just have him stay and have
and LSM. I have to be very clear. You get the experience for Chuck down low if you need it.
Yep.
But he's better suited to be an LSM.
Yes, he's
in those types of. Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just had to interject. But
I know. I mean, we mentioned the announcers. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
They complained about the officiating. I thought the officiating was consistently bad. Like,
yeah, I was just gonna say, if you were gonna say good, Matt, we were gonna fight about this later. But,
it wasn't good, but it was bad both ways. Like they missed calls both ways. They called ticky-tacky things for both teams.
They called an unsportsmanlike penalty on Penn. I still don't know what he. Yeah, I was gonna say this. The same thing for both those penalties.
Yep.
I don't know what was said. I'll say it this way.
I know I heard Waddle talking to his family after the game because we were standing right next to where his family was.
You mean Huddle, not Waddle? By the way.
Yeah. Did I say Waddle? Sorry.
Yeah.
Waddle. And he said that he was saying to the other guy something about 400. I guess it might be like one of their like setups, like one of their and one of the officials' numbers was 100. So I think the official thought he was talking about him or the other official.
Cool. But when they pointed it out on the broadcast, and they were kind of right in a way. I don't want to give the Penn people credit when I say this, but when they called it on the first goal from Penn, I'm like, it's going to come back to bite Syracuse. They're going to call something stupid on, because once again, we play this game. I don't think the Penn guy said anything bad that we could see that warranted an unsportsmanlike. Now, did he make a motion?
There was a moment to the push that the crowbar that the guy had on Kittleberger that they called penalty, and then Kittleberger was like clapping in the guy's face. Like, I was surprised they didn't call that. Yeah,
but that's what I mean. They called it tight. Now they called it tight from the get-go for a lot of things.
Yeah.
For as tight as they called it, I'm amazed at how many calls that I watched live that they missed. That's how I'm going to phrase it.
Yeah. And we've talked about this in last year a little bit. I don't think we've talked about it at all this year yet. But the thing with officiating is it consistent, right? Like, are you tight for both teams or shitty for both teams or good for both teams. Like it's when it's lopsided one way or the other, that's when it's a problem to me. Like, but if you're going to call it the same both ways, but you just call it a certain way, okay, then that's just how you officiate, right? Like it's when it's inconsistent that it's a problem. So I didn't have a problem with the refs. I thought they stunk, but they stunk for both teams. Did I lose you, Dan?
Yeah.
You're still there.
Nope. I'm good.
I mean, one thing I will say is
my laptop's playing games.
Yeah. One thing that I will say that I was particularly impressed with is we won a lot of the 50-50 ground balls. Like not even on the wings for faceoffs, because I noticed a lot of the wins he just like pushed forward to himself. But anything 50-50, like on the field, like where the ball went down, we won those. And that is a huge contributing factor to why we won, right? Like,
right.
Let me look at the stats here. Considering we lost faceoffs, we only had 6 faceoff wins to their 12. We beat them in ground balls by 5. So really, that's an 11 ground ball swing in our favor. So they're like, because if you take away 6 of their advantage from faceoffs, right? So then that puts them down to 12 ground balls to our 23. So we had an 11 ground ball advantage on non-faceoff ground balls.
Well, and unfortunately, and this is where the dumb part is, faceoff stats can be misleading, right? Because like I swear, Tim's going to love this because I'm going to call on his stats for a second. And I'm sure he's still watching. And I'm sure I'll get a random hate message from him later. I assume they give the face-off to the guy who initially wins it and not on the ground ball, because I've seen that with stats before. Right? So because like there's no way that, yes, there was a face-off difference. It wasn't 6. That's how I'm going to phrase it. That's the way that I'm going to phrase it. And I'm going off SU stats.
Yep.
It's the official box score. It's all that fun stuff. But like, I don't see how there was that much of a difference. I'll just phrase it that way. Like eye to eye.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? We were talking about the man up and man down, right? Yeah. Penn went 2 for 5 on man up. So that means before the Penn game, we had only allowed 1 man down goal, which is crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy.
Well, people aren't going to hear that. They're only going to hear we allowed 2. I hate to tell you this, but that's going to be the narrative that comes out of this, and I'll spread that narrative. To be fair, they went 2 for 5, like,
and our man up went 3 for 6.
You know what? Sorry, I know you finish your thing, and then I'll go.
No, you're good. That's good.
We talked about clears at the beginning of the year, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the clear numbers. They actually weren't terrible. People are going to hate it, but they had four misses technically by the stats. I don't know how they conclude that a clear is good. The only thing I assume is that it got over midfield. That's where my brain goes with how it's successful.
I don't know if it's midfield or if it's the box. I don't know what's.
Yeah. It used to be the box, but I don't know if it changes now that they don't have to get it. Either way, it doesn't. Yeah. If they get it across midfield, if they don't, whatever.
Yeah.
Kittleberger is the one-man clear, and Bolognino as well. That's the one thing that I learned from this game.
Yep.
And Jake.
They're finally letting guys just run it up.
And McCarthy, which you talked about. McCarthy got a lot of run at D-mid. He is going to be the Sam English by the end of the year. Yep. He is going to be the Sam English, but probably not as many points. That's how I'm going to phrase it. And that's not a criticism. That's just his role on this team.
Sam English is a unicorn. There's not a lot of players like him. Zach Courier is probably the only player that I could think of off the top of my head who is. We don't
hype up other teams that went to rival colleges. I'm going to tell you that. I know where he went. Quiz me. Go ahead.
Princeton.
Went to it. Yeah, I know. He went to a sub school that I hate. now.
Anyways, but yeah, like it was a sloppy game overall. Both teams had a lot of turnovers. The D did very well. Anytime you allow less than 10 goals in a game is a great game. McCool had 56 save percentage, so once again, almost 60%. We didn't allow a whole goal in fourth quarter and overtime. Our offensive production was pretty good. Finn had a hat trick. Joey went 1-3. Leo went 2-2. It's been very interesting to see Leo be more of a distributor these last couple games.
Yep.
Which is good for him. Like that, he's not just the sweeping guy who shoots and scores. And like so, other than a majority of the third quarter, once again, the game was pretty even.
Well, and the other difference. Sorry, I'm.
You're good. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're good.
You're good. At the end of that third quarter, we had 2 goals right at the end that really gave us the momentum to push into the fourth quarter and get going. And then, Johnny didn't win a lot of face-offs. Yeah, and Johnny didn't win a lot of face-offs, but he won ones when he needed to. Right? Like he won important ones, like the overtime one or some of those few in the fourth quarter, like when he really needed to, which let's see. So like we didn't win a face-off.
You're stealing exactly what I was going to say. So keep on going with this one because that was my point with this. Johnny didn't win a lot, but when we needed him to, he won them.
Yes. So he won 5 face-offs in the second half to their 3.
Yep.
So he won the second half.
Yeah. Which I think is fair.
And like to me, that shows that he has the capability to figure it out and get out of the mess, right? Like, and not just crumble completely. Like, which is good because, like we all know, the 2 guys who are the most head cases on lacrosse teams are face-off guys and goalies, right? Like, so if he can manage to figure that out and wade through that storm and then get them when we need them is huge. Trying to think of what my other points were.
So the interesting note for this one, Drew won 4 out of 6 against Princeton.
And then won 1 against
goes over.
Yep. And he had some jumps too.
This time it was false starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Johnny a dumb couple of face-offs once again. When a referee says set, you actually have to set. You can't just immediately jump and hope that you're. But I get it, right? Because there was one thing somebody I played high school with that always told me you have to get the jump, right? So they're judging off the referee's cadence. Yep. I wonder what Oderna said at halftime. I really want to know.
Yeah.
Because it had to be like, hey guys, my side is carrying this. This could be a lot. Like all jokes aside, like this could be a lot worse. I need some, not a Pat March necessarily, but a Gary. I need some help. Somebody help me.
Yeah, because Gary is not the hype man.
Yep.
He's just like calm and cool no matter what. Like it's
pockets.
Funny because
Tim will appreciate this, but pockets.
Yeah. Even like so SU, one of the marketing things came out with a video yesterday of him watching that 1989 championship game. And like he showed no emotion reliving that. Like no excitement, like just we won the game. This happened. Yep, good win. Like, and that's
laughing. I'm not laughing, but I was jumping, like I was reacting. I was like, yes. And you just see him like, okay.
Well, even like arguably one of the greatest passes of all time, right? Like the Paul behind the back 30-yard pass on the rope. Was it Greg Burns or whoever it was? Like, even that he's like, oh yeah, that's one of the arguably the best passes of all time.
So it shows why as much as we joke about it, and he's loving this, by the way, Matt. Our hater is loving this, by the way. Yeah. But like it shows like the benefit of having a March, because you could tell March is always fired up. He was fired up for a lot of the Princeton game, and O'Derna's the same way. O'Derna was in your face referee. I'm going to be on you the whole game, and Gary just sat back there, and I hated it at first, but I've learned having the mix of O'Derna, March. I'm going to butcher the substitution coach's name, so I'm not even going to try it. Yes, there you go. Having somebody like that to scream and yell at the refs, if that's what it comes down to, is perfect. Gary doesn't get a penalty. O'Derna gets in the ref's face, and O'Derna doesn't get a penalty either, because I thought there were a couple times where they were going to call a penalty on him.
Yeah, you got to have good cop, bad cop. You can't have all guys who are going to scream and yell. Like, you got to have a balance of that. So
it's I will just say crazy. Too, like, go ahead.
One of the things that I know people have in the past given Gary criticism about is like his game management. And I thought he picked two very great times to call his timeouts in the fourth quarter.
I'm going to fight you on this for one reason.
What's that?
And one reason alone. In the first half, I thought he should have called timeout. That's my only discretion with that. When you're down that much.
Yeah.
When they got the jump on him, I was like, I was screaming at my TV. Trust me, my wife can vouch for this. She was not happy with me screaming at the TV. I was screaming, call a timeout, wake them up.
Been the one to like call it like when we're in trouble on a clear.
Like,
he did that, and then he called the penalty with like 20 seconds left or whatever.
I mean, or if you got a millisecond with the ball, as Penn magically happened.
God, that made me so angry.
There's nothing worse.
He didn't even have possession. Like
I don't know if you picked up on it. There was the Lax Twitter was going nuts about it. It was kind of funny. You know how like in basketball, they're like, okay, once we get it across half court, we're calling a timeout. It seemed like he was in their ear the minute this crosses half midfield.
Yeah,
I'm calling this, because like there was no way he had that much time to get the call to the ref.
Yeah.
And the ref magically noticed that he had the ball.
Yeah.
Like it was a millisecond, it felt like, that they had the ball. And I hate refs. I hate refs. Every referee is great except for Matt. Every referee sucks except for Matty Plum. I'll say it. I'll stand up on that. I was going to say something else, but
it's so funny.
But like I think he would probably tell you, how do you make that call? Right? Like I think he would even tell you, like, which I want to effort something. I've got two things to talk to you about after, now that my brain is going. But like, you can't let the refs decide a game. And for a while, I thought the referee was going to decide the game. I was like, here we go. We're going to call dumb penalties. We're going to call a hold when there's an interference on the other guy. I think it was Leo. Which one grabbed it with their hand? I was waiting for a dump. I mean, that one was obvious, right? Like that one was like, okay, like you're trying to hide it from the ref, and the TV camera picked up on it. Like, but like, please don't call slashing penalties left and right, because they could have called it a lot of times.
Yeah. Yep.
And they made themselves a part of this game by calling unsportsmanlike when they probably shouldn't have been. If nothing, I'll use the Hoddle example for you, right, Matt? I'll just say it this way: if he said 100, you suck, whatever. I don't want to do it. That's not in the sportsmanlike in my brain. You got to say something else.
Yeah.
Unless it was a buildup. That's the way that I'll phrase it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the referee said something to him. Stop it. Knock it off. But let the coaches do that. And I'll say that in a general statement. Let the coaches be the ones to do that, because they're less likely. And I thought they called it on the bench. So that was my reaction for that one.
Yeah.
And I know you texted and said, I have no idea.
On the field because there was a flag, but you don't have any commentary, right? So you're trying to figure it out, and everybody's screaming, "What the you ref? You suck!"
And then also, I'll just say those commentators didn't know even after the fact because there was no communication from the field up to them. Like, hey, because at least Princeton they had the radio, and you could tell it every time they went over there. Like, okay, radio up to here, 10 seconds on the shot clock, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't want to criticize the Penn people because, right, I'm sitting here doing what they're essentially doing. I'm being the armchair quarterback but like, don't be homers. That's all I'm going to say. Like,
well, like, you look at like when Quint and that whole crew is on, and like Anish and Kark are alums, right? But they do a very good job of staying neutral. Like
sometimes I don't want to criticize them too much, but sometimes,
but like even like when the Newhouse kids are on there, like I think they do a good job of staying neutral. So Jack, take notes for when you're doing broadcasts in a few years.
Jack, we know you're studying. We know you're studying because you wanted to ditch us tonight, but take notes. Matt and I are actually giving you props that the WAER commentary was actually really good because I actually turned that on for a little bit just to listen to them. And I think I'm at the point now where I'd rather listen to that than listen to like the away team's broadcast, because if it's not the camera at Maryland, Matt, it's the stupid Penn announcers for the Penn Sports Network, whatever they're sponsored by, which great. That's my goal. Obviously, I'm not gonna sit there but like, and they're like, oh, they're doing a 10-man ride, but the goalie isn't coming out, but they're still doing a 10-man ride, and it's great. They stop everybody, and then you just see Bolognino running the cross, or you see Polino running the cross, and they're like, okay, well, Penn didn't do a great job. Okay, well, Syracuse kind of did a good job clearing it too. Like, it wasn't all bad on Penn. Like, and so there. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, one of the things we talked about last week was, right, you got to go at least 1-1, right? We said you couldn't go 0-2 this weekend.
Go ahead.
And they made it through 1-1. Was the Princeton game disappointing? Yes. They made a gritty win, a tough win against Penn. Good. So now we're sitting at 4-2. So all of our wins are ranked teams, ranked wins, either when we played them or they're now currently ranked. And then
I think.
Go ahead.
I think I feel better about Princeton now after seeing what they did to Carolina.
Yes. So I was chatting with Joe after the game because Max wanted to make sure he went over and said hi to Joey.
Subtle plug. Always got to plug. Always got to plug the guy that I want to get on, that you never want to get on, that you never want to talk to. It's okay. It's all right.
His buddy Max's buddy Miles from soccer too was there because they're a big lacrosse family, so they came with us to the game.
Yeah.
So Max and Miles wanted to go over and see Joey, so we went over and he's talking to Dad, and I said, "Oh, Carolina beat Princeton," and
no, other way, other way. You're butchering.
I'm sorry, Princeton beat Carolina, and I said that makes Friday look better, and Joe was like, "Yeah, it really does." Like, so.
That's a D1 coach saying that. That isn't just a parent of a player. Let's just be very fair to him. He understands the game. He knows the game. Tim, yes, I'm blowing the Long Island lacrosse. I don't care, and I know you'll comment about this, but yes, he knows the game.
A Division I coach, a PLL GM, a former MLL coach. Yes, he knows the game.
And is he biased? Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, but is he's pretty unbiased from the stories you've told about talking to him.
Yeah,
he gets it.
If Joey has a bad game, he's going to tell him, "Hey, you didn't play great. Here's some things you can do better."
That's the third one. I've got 3 guests in my brain, by the way, that we're going to talk about after.
Okay.
One you just mentioned, but I don't know how easy that one is to.
Okay, we'll talk.
Yeah. We will for like 2 seconds. Then you'll say, I got to go to bed after this. I know how this works. Let's see what else. I've got the Hopkins stuff from Tim.
Yeah,
Is there anything?
I got a little bit of notes on Hopkins, like their stats and stuff.
Is there anything of note that we forgot from your notes?
I don't think so.
So I was gonna say most of Cam's stuff we covered. The one thing that I'll add that Cam added, we said about Princeton. If the offense clicks, I'm gonna clip this because you Syracuse haters are gonna love this. This is a Memorial Day team if the offense starts to click. That's how I'm gonna phrase it.
Well, yeah, in one of Cam's points was it's better to be in a situation where we have a good defense and the offense needs a little bit more time to figure it out, right?
Yep.
Like that's better than your offense can score, but your defense can't stop anybody, right? Like
I'll also add the Maryland needs to pick it up. I need Maryland
to get some wins because I
need Maryland to win out. Please, somebody send this to the Maryland fans. I'm rooting for you guys. Hardcore. Win out. Win the Big Ten because we were so happy. And I think to be fair to you and I, you can disagree with me, and I'll say you're wrong when you say it this way. I overlooked every game because I thought about Maryland before the year. And I was like, okay, beat Maryland. That's my thought.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, okay, we've got Princeton. We've got, we've got everybody else. We thought Maryland was the juggernaut. We learned this weekend that they aren't the juggernaut. I'll just phrase it that way right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a lot to figure out still.
Bring me back to 1995. That's all I'm going to say. Beat the Princetons, beat the Marylands. Is there anything else that we forgot?
Nope. I'm good.
All right. I'll rattle off
one and we did. So
yeah, I was going to say that was the first immediate thought after Princeton. Win Sunday.
Yeah, you got to win Sunday. If we went 0-2, we'd be in a very different spot right now.
Tim would love it if they would have went 0-2. I will just say that, given the hateful messages that I've received from him over the past couple of days about how much he loves hating on Joey, he would have loved if they went 0-2. And yes, I know he can see this, so you're welcome, Tim. I gave you your publicity. So the things because I asked him, for people who don't know the context, Tim watches way too much lacrosse and has no life. And watches. I know he does. I know his wife probably hears us and is laughing. He watches a lot of lacrosse. So if I ever need unbiased opinion and Brian decides to ditch us for stick talk and other things, I go to Tim. So I messaged him and I said, what's the book on Hopkins? And I'll just read off the PG stuff of what he sent. Joking, of course. Tim, I know you sent Hopkins is young on offensive side besides Collison. Goalie is a freshman. Faceoff guy got hurt versus Loyola, hasn't played since. Defensively, they're aggressive, sometimes too aggressive. That's Tim's notes for me on Hopkins.
Okay.
Which I love it. You know what that reminds me of? Syracuse a couple years ago.
Say us as when Joey's class was sophomores and we had Petramala as their defensive coach.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where was Petro coach, Matt? Just out of curiosity, where was he head coach? Because that reminds me of the Hopkins of old.
It's like Bizarro Superman.
Yeah, I mean, like, so you said you have the stats, so I'll go off of you.
Yeah, so. Collison is 10-8 so far. Hunter Chauvet is, when he's on, man, he's one of the best shooters in the country. He's got 16 goals.
Yeah.
Chuck Rawson, who is Ted's older brother, has 8-8. And then Brooks English, who's Sammy's younger brother, 2 goals and 11 assists so far. Their top defender, Quentin Kilrain, his stats off the page are not too, like, they don't look too good to me. He only has 7 ground balls, 0 cause turnovers, and he has 3 turnovers himself, but he could still be shutting down a defense. Like those stats don't always necessarily mean something for a defender because he could still be locking the guy down and he's just not scoring. So one player that I didn't initially have on my notes when we did our preseason thing, but I added him was Reese Ciso. That's
Tim. Correct Matt. Don't correct me. That's all I'm going to tell you. Go to Matt.
Chico something like that. He's a sophomore, short stick D mid. He's got 22 ground balls already and 12 turnovers, which is a lot for a short stick D mid. But and the other thing I saw too is they've pretty much had this freshman that Tim mentioned in goal, but then at some point he went out in the last game against Virginia. And then the senior was in for most of that game. So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, so they're 4-1 right now. You could argue that they haven't really beat anybody yet. Virginia's not looking all that good this year, and they had to
train wreck.
They had to make a big fourth quarter comeback to beat Virginia. They lost to UNC by 8. So so it's not looking super like Hopkins is one of those games where kind of like UVA, it doesn't really matter how good either team is. It's always going to be a competitive game because it's a big rivalry game, right? Like, so,
I was going to say throughout the record, I don't care what their record is. They know Syracuse is coming. The band will be ready. I want to mute the band the whole game. I'll just be very blunt in that. I am the biggest band hater. Shout out to every band parent there, but I hate your band. Your band is very annoying, especially when you're sitting in the stands next to them at a field where you can't separate yourself. I'll just say this: there are Syracuse fans traveling, so
that's one thing I will say. Going back to Penn, there was a lot of a lot of orange there. And I forgot to mention, you'd be proud, Dan. I let a bunch of chants, so we were nice and loud.
I didn't hear any of them on the TV.
When I listened back, I was trying to listen for them, and you could barely hear them. They definitely
you could hear it, but the fact that it's a bowl doesn't let any sound echo. I'll just say it that way. I never thought I'd have to do this. I have to give a shout out to a Buckeye, and I don't want to do this. Trust me, Brian will understand how much this is going to kill me. We talked about missing offensive pieces and execution.
Yeah.
You know how many points Burt Whistle has so far? You want to take a guess? Without looking.
Having a couple a game.
He has 8. Do you know he has more assists this year than he had all of his Syracuse career? I want to make that joke so people will understand. He has 1 assist. Tim, if you send me that, I will block you. I will block you, okay? That's all I'm going to tell you. Matt, don't look at YouTube. He is being a hater right now. If you send me that, I will block you. I'll give you credit. I'll put this up on here so people can see it because there, okay? Like there. Are you happy? You got your 5 minutes of fame. Now you're going to be blocked for the rest of the time. Have fun. I'm joking, Tim. Obviously, I know you'll message me something on. You have other ways to get a hold of me. Burt Whistle, though, huh? Like everybody thought he was trash. Not me, not you. And look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. His mom's a fiery person. I love seeing her on social media going back and forth.
Heidi again. That's 2 weeks in a row. I think we'll give her a shout out.
Yep, but like crazy, isn't it? Like he goes there and he gets playing time. Let's just be very clear.
Yeah,
he gets a lot more playing time with them, but he's putting up some numbers.
He's one of those where, man, he could have been a difference maker if he didn't get injured last year.
Yep. I'm not saying Memorial Day. Probably closer though.
Yeah, you never know.
So I'll say knife to your head because I can't say certain words on YouTube as I've learned from people's videos. I'm sure you can figure out what I'm going to say in that. Syracuse win, I'm assuming. I don't want to do this, but Tim, clip this. And if you message me about this after, I'm going to say I didn't do it. Give me Syracuse by 3 or 4.
Like a 15-12.
Yep. I need a shootout. I need a shootout. I need it. I need run and gun.
This is a good game for the offense to get come correct. You know?
And he's gonna clip this, and somehow he doesn't know how to clip it. He doesn't know how to join streams when he gets invited, but he will somehow find a way to clip what I just said and send it to the Hopkins people because they will love it. I think this is a bounce back. I don't want to say bounce back, right? Because they beat Penn. I hope the same consistency from the fourth quarter carries.
Yes. Yep.
I don't
Hopefully
know.
Johnny comes ready to go. You know.
Listen, I want Drew 10 faceoffs. I'm becoming a Drew fan. I might get a Drew jersey. Drew 10 faceoffs, 10 for 10. Oh, that would be. Listen, the haters will love Drew if he goes undefeated in faceoffs. They will fuel the Drew. The people in that group, Matt. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead. The people in the group will what?
The people in the group won't know what to do if Drew wins face-offs. That's all I'm going to say because they hate Johnny right now.
We're rocking throwback helmets too, so that's cool.
Don't. Okay. I was trying to avoid this. Why do you do this? Why? You know what you're doing. Go ahead, defend this. Go ahead. Defend.
I love when we do throwback stuff because it makes you nostalgic. I will agree to Diggs and Brian's points in that they could have done more with the color scheme of like the actual helmet itself. I love the decals. The decals look great. Like the fade of the blue
old school SU, the old school SU decal hits home for me.
But they've done better in the past with their throwback helmets for sure.
You know what the other frustrating? Cool. You know what the other frustrating part is?
What?
You know what's the theme whenever they do throwbacks?
We lose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was told by that hater, not Tim, that the jerseys are also going to be throwbacks as well. I've heard through the channels. Now that isn't confirmed.
Yes, I
I'll change my tune on the helmets if they wear the throwback jerseys. How about that?
Alex was making the joke that if we're going to do throwback helmets, he wants to see crop top jerseys too.
Listen. Alex has dodged us. I don't see Alex in the comments, so I'm not referring to Alex. I'm just joking, obviously. Alex, I love you. You know that. Matt loves you more because Matt talks about you behind the scenes a lot and says a lot of good things. I want them to go full throwback, but I don't because of the history.
It's usually the kiss of death.
Every time they do a historic thing, I'm going to butcher this because I'm going to butcher the number. I still remember 100th year against Notre Dame. They came out with the coins. They did all the fanfare. They did throwback jerseys, and Notre Dame came in and blew out SU.
Yep. Even when
that's my nightmare.
The last time they did helmets like this one and like the jerseys too, they played UVA in the dome and got beat too.
Yep. So SU Athletics, you don't listen to me. Put those throwback jerseys for sale. If you're going to do that, let me buy them. That's all I'm going to say. Like, listen, there's a guy in South Carolina who isn't an SU fan anymore, who probably has a couple of 22 jerseys for sale. And I hope Tim sends this clip to him, and I hope he clips that part, just that part. Because he was messaging me about the games because he's watching, and I know he is. So, that person. I'm not going to mention him by name because he doesn't watch anymore, and he's not a fan, and he moved. So you're gonna say 15-12?
Yep.
I'll go 16-12. I'll go one more. I think the number is 3 or 4. Now I have to do a disclaimer because I've seen it. We aren't betting people. I'm terrible at betting. Yeah, don't take my spread. Don't take my spread if you don't think we don't represent Syracuse. So if you go to Syracuse and say, hey, Matt and Dan told me to bet on Syracuse spread. Matt said Syracuse was going to win. Don't do that, please. I have to put that disclaimer in because people come at me. I don't even know what any of
that stuff means, the plus minus.
So I do, unfortunately. I don't want to know, but I do. Don't bet because of me. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Okay. I think we're good, though. I think we'll talk about the back end stuff.
Yeah. So, next week we're gonna record Wednesday, a little bit later again, just because of timing. We mentioned Todd's gonna come on. He's a West Coast guy, lives in Cali, so we're gonna go a little bit later and then have him join at the end.
I think we're gonna try and get Brian on. I think we're
if timing works out, because once again, Brian's a West Coast guy too, or Mountain Time, whatever it is. But if we can get Brian, I think Jack might be able to join us depending on how school's going and stuff. But I
don't know. Jack's spring break is. Are we in? No, it's next week. 2 weeks.
Yeah, next week spring break. Yeah, so he might have more 2
weeks.
Time.
No, 2 weeks, right? Because they go to. No, it's not this week. It is next week because then they go out to Air Force and all that. Which I won't tell the message that we got today about that. That's going to remain in that group chat about that by that so-called fan that doesn't go to any games. Sorry, I had to do that. I think we're going to end there though. And then Matt's going to criticize me behind the scenes and yell at me and tell me I can't say half the stuff I just said. So before I unload Matt's social number and everything else that I have on Matt dug up. Yeah, I think we'll stop it there for the night.
Go Orange.
Go Orange.